Hello, everyone. My name is Stephen Maddox, and tonight I'm going to be talking about raising funds for art programs in schools in the United States. Now, this might seem like a interesting topic, but the reason I chose this is because art is something that happens to be very, very important to me. It allows children, both young and old, to express themselves as they need to express themselves. Teaches them about individuality and not, being like the next person. This is especially helpful with troubled teens. It helps them get out their bad emotions, put it on paper. It's really, really good just for expression and for being able to feel better about yourself and who you are as a person. Um, Children at a very young age are able to find out things that do interest them and things that don't interest them. I know that when I was younger, I certainly was interested in art. It was my absolute passion. I loved it, but I only had one art class every week or so. And so, we'd go and do a lot of other things like our traditional math, science, English, and I would always look forward to art. And I was never ever able to do it because it was so seldom. And it was because of the lack of funds. My teachers would tell me, I would be like, oh, hey, I wish that we could do art all the time. I wish we could do it a couple times a week. And they would always be like, yeah, well, we just can't do that because we don't have the funding to pay for the paints and the oil pastels and the colored pencils for every student. Um, it was really disappointing for me as a small kid because I really wanted to be able to do that because I thought it was fun and it was cool to have a good time while you were at school. Um, yeah, like I said, I've always had like a natural talent for art, so it's something that I'm very, very passionate about, and I feel that it's something that should be improved and worked on, um, because it gives the individual the gratification of completing work, and you can also see your emotions and your feelings being conveyed and mirrored to another person, and they can totally interpret your art in a different way. And it's really, really beautiful, and it's a new way of interaction. Actually, it's not even really new. It's been going on since the cave days, and there's a reason. It's because that sort of communication is essential for society and people. It's just you see art everywhere. It's on t-shirts, album covers, advertisements, art galleries, movies, TV shows, everywhere. It's literally everywhere. So this kind of ties into the importance of art in society, what it does for us. Just imagine, walking on campus and you see student art. Let's just say it's an elementary school, and you see student art hanging on this, the walls, and there's big banners that say, football game this day, cheer practice, whatever. There's stuff hanging everywhere. It makes the school feel a lot more like a community instead of just being some sort of institution that just teaches you one way to think and one way to be. And it just for me, it just kind of boosts the morale of the whole area. You walk into a school where you see bright, colorful, happy art, and it just makes you feel so much more connected with the student body and the fact that they're able to, not only put forward the funds and the effort to, um, express the greatness that comes from art and how beautiful you can really make things look. So June Vale, the professor of dance and the founder of Bedouin's dance program, says that art brings energy and creativity, a kind of learning that can only enhance every other kind of learning. And I fully agree with this because, um, art is something that's it's very fluid. It can go for a lot of things. It ties into science, it ties into math, it ties into, English, every other subject because it is very visual and it allows a whole different free kind of visual feel of thinking. Um, so the uniqueness of art in school is that it communicates across barriers of languages, class, and culture. Basically, this just means that art, you can see it, and even if it's something that's written in Japanese, if there's a visual that goes with it, you can still understand what it means just because of what it's portraying and the emotion that it's trying to convey. Um, it teaches students to think in a different way. Like I've already said, outside the box. It's not some straightforward path that just forces you to think some way that maybe isn't even your natural way of thinking and your way of acting. Howard Gardner argues that human intelligence is not limited by traditional measures of mathematical and linguistic ability. There can be other measures of intelligence, and three others that he mentioned was musical, and this could be like musicians, conductors, spatial, which is like graphic design, visual artists, and then bodily and kinesthetic, which would be like dancers, actors, athletes, all that sort of thing. So I kind of agree with the way that he believes and how there are different forms of intelligence because certain people are blessed and talented in different ways other than, science or math. Um, I have a graph of my presentation that's titled "The Value of Arts Education in K through 12 and Post Secondary Schools." It's basically the funding that goes into it from the years 98 to 2017. And in 98, the funding that went into it was $150,000 annually, which was pretty substantial. But now it's gone down to almost $110,000 annually, which is not, it's quite a significant decrease. And it's preventing students from being able to create better and better art. Square One Art is actually a fundraiser company that I was looking at. It's easily manageable for art teachers, and it allows them to be able to use the profits and proceeds gained to them to fit into their curriculum and to allow students to use better art supplies. It's custom made for art teachers, meaning that they are increasingly expected to do more and more like the art teachers are, but they aren't giving the funds to necessarily, withhold this. To donate to this cause, you can visit www.squareoneart.com, and you can submit as much as you want to, and it basically helps the cause for struggling students and art teachers around the U.S. How your donations will make an impact. Increased art funds will allow children to utilize more art supplies and can further explore their creative and emotional side. It will grant students access to better art supplies and a more fulfilling experience overall for the student. And it helps younger adults learn good communication skills with others their age and even older and younger than them, and they can kind of communicate and interact with one another about how to do certain things and like what certain art can mean to them and how it can mean to other people and how it's totally up to interpretation to the individual. And then the final slide on my PowerPoint would be the works cited page. So if you guys want to donate to this foundation, you can get to my link within the PowerPoint. And thank you so much for listening. And I hope you all have a great evening. Bye.